Good morning. God bless you all. I hope you can hear me. I'm having breakfast this morning with Uncle James.
What's up, everybody?
And we are talking about marriage and relationships. And I want to give especially women a hack. And I'm gonna also at some point do it for men, maybe even tomorrow. But I'm gonna give all the ladies a tip, every single woman a tip. I believe this will be life-changing if you'll be wise enough to listen. Now, I'm going to tell you this because I have been married before. I was married since I was 19 to when I was 28, and then I got divorced, and then we married this year. So I have some experience because I got married young, made a bunch of mistakes, and by the wisdom of God and the grace of God, God restored me. Now, I'm going to teach women what men look for. When they, oh my God, my dread God, my miso soup. Well, that's a wrap.
All right.
Okay, this side. What men look for when they are considering a person they're going to marry. This is going to help you. There are two things that men look for, but I'll point one first. A man is attracted by innocence because innocence triggers two things in a man. Innocence triggers a man to desire to protect you. Number two, to provide for you. I'll add a third one, which is very important. The third one, your innocence also means that you haven't been in a lot of relationships. Because believe it or not, it matters to men how many people you've been with in life, and then you start realizing that to women they may think it doesn't matter, but to every man, honestly, it does matter, 100%. And I'll tell you why in a second. Your innocence also speaks of how you have kept yourself. You see, in the society we live in, it's not as important for somebody to keep themselves. But for men, that will always be something. Innocence will always be something that they will treasure. Now, it doesn't mean if you made mistakes in the past and you fixed yourself up, it won't matter. It will matter, sorry. The reality is, depending on who, it can affect, but your present can change stuff. Yes? Tout va bien. Tout va bien. Merci. So, it is important for people to keep themselves, both men and women, but especially women. Not saying that less for men. I'm telling you especially women, because innocence plays a big part in how a man will react to you. An example is this. If I want to give you an experience you've never had, but I take you to that experience and you've already done it, it tells a man you've already been there with somebody else. Let's say I want to take you on a trip, but it's not a big deal to you. It means you've been on multiple. If I want to put you on a private jet, let's go on this trip. And for you, it doesn't, it's whatever. It says that you've done that before. And for a man's psyche, our ego wants us to be the first that you've experienced everything with. This is why innocence is extremely important. Extremely, extremely important. Now, there's another thing that I was just thinking about, and I spoke to the gentleman, and I lost, is that your innocence also speaks of your ability to look up to him because you haven't had as much life experience. So if he tells you, let's go left, you trust him. Let's go right, you will trust him. Let's go this way, let's do this, you will trust him because he has been there, he has done that, and you know that he's a better guide for you, be a better leader for you. So your innocence says to a man that he can lead you. Now, the reality is, most men, unfortunately, they are not worth submitting to because they haven't done anything with themselves. You see, when I was growing up in our culture, you were supposed to marry a woman 6 to 12 years younger than you. Reason being is that you have most of the pieces of your life together that somebody can actually follow you. Notice people like enter into what they're, men especially, they find what they're supposed to do in their mid-30s to 40s is when men have their life together. So a man marrying in their 20s or their 25s or early 30s is not impossible, but usually it means they don't have a lot of their life together. They don't have experience. They don't have a bunch of things, together. So innocence is a huge thing. If you speak to any man truthfully, they will tell you that if you were to, and this is hypothetical, right? If they were to pick a virgin or somebody that has been with people, the virgin will be more attractive. Not because maybe they are compatible, but just the idea that I can lead her, I can guide her, she hasn't had much life experience, will be more attractive to them. So this is extremely important. I hope this helps. I don't know if it's making sense. Because that innocence will make a man want to provide for you, fight for you. If he's a good man, fight for you, provide for you. He knows that he's the first because our ego wants us to be the first with everything. So if I try to say, okay, let's go this, but I have done that before, turn off. Let's go this, well, in my ex, we did this, turn off. They won't pursue you for marriage. They already know that. So I hope this helps. Did it help? Yeah. I hope it helped. And I'll come back with some man stuff, but keeping yourself is so important, people. It's so important. It's extremely important. Also, being with multiple people, also what it does is that it makes you carry baggages, right? Yeah. And it affects men, but it affects women even more, Being with multiple people, just psychologically. Like when I was growing up, this is something I was even sharing with my wife. I was like, when I was growing up, I never remember anyone calling women crazy.
Come on, you're close to the end zone.
Yeah,
he can do it.
He can fight.
Oh, sorry.
No, Sava. Yeah. So it's I don't remember that. I remember everyone being so decent, but also culturally, people kept themselves until your parents, like in another family, they arranged marriage stuff. So it was more paramount for people to keep themselves and things like that. So a lot of the things that, I don't know if I'm making sense, like being with multiple people will damage you, because if the last guy cheated on you, the other guy beat you up, another guy did this, the next guy you'll be with you'll be paranoid about everything. Even if they're trying to love you honestly and genuinely, because of how many things you have been through, it will take you a long time to just be cool, because no man wants to feel like somebody's breathing down their neck, like, what are you doing? Who are you talking to? That's also a turn off for a man, big time, right? But if you've been through those things, then you worry about those things, right? And you worrying about them doesn't really mean you fix them or you change them or anything. It just creates more issues for your relationship. Anyway, I hope I feel like I'm going on a rant. Well, I love you. That was just my morning thoughts here in beautiful Paris. Let me know in your comments what you think. And remember, if you want a traditional man, you have to be a traditional woman. Always remember that. If you want a traditional man, you have to be a traditional woman. What men do provisionally and all that, it's instinctual, you know. Yeah, it's very important. If you want a traditional man, you have to be a traditional woman. And if you're a traditional woman, your standards will be somewhere where will make a man, if he's serious about you, he has to change everything. You won't compromise your values. I'm not talking about standards, I'm talking about values, because some people have unrealistic standards, both men and women, right? But I'm talking about values. Values say who you are, not standards, you know. It will never work, a modern man with a traditional woman or a traditional woman with a modern man. Nah, it doesn't work. Well, all right, I'm having breakfast and I was talking to Uncle James because he's thinking about that area. So Mike Dupree caught that. Values say who you are, not standards. Yeah, people have standards without having done anything. Well, he needs to bring this to the table. What are you bringing? She needs to bring this to the table. What are you bringing? Standards, values say who you are. Well, I love you guys. May the Lord keep you and bless you. Bye-bye.